and welcome back to Whiskey Wednesday. I'm still on a barrel. It's been a pretty intense day. My legs are done, so we're on a barrel. This is Adelphi. We all know what Adelphi is, or maybe some of us don't. This was actually a commenter's recommendation. Again, my brain is fried today, so I apologize, but the gentleman who recommended it, I think it was on the Famous Grouse Smoky Black video, maybe the Cutty Sark video, but probably the Famous Grouse one. And he's like, if you like that, you'll like this. And I thought, okay, I'll Google it, I'll check it out. And it before postage, it was about £21, which is about the same as a bottle of, Cutty Sark or Grouse or whatever it is you're drinking. And I've never heard of it. I know of Adelphi, I know them as a blender, bottler, I should say. I'm pretty sure they're the people behind the Ardnam Merkin distillery. I really should have researched that before we click record, but nonetheless, it's out there now. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, hey. At 20 pounds, it's probably not natural colour, and it's probably chill filtered because it's 40%. And the only thing I know about it, and the only thing that any website, even specialist websites, would say about it is that it contains Campbeltown, Islay and Speyside whiskey, which are both matured in Solera vats. Now, I don't know if that means the malt whiskey and the grain whiskey are kept separately because it is a blend, or if they're put together and then put in a Solera vat, which would be pretty cool. But it's like private stock and all those kind of fancy words to make it sound more elegant. But at 20 quid, it's a good bit of fun. It's been open for a while, not drank a lot of it. Opened my mind a little bit to affordable whiskey at this price point. But the only other thing which is quite interesting about it is this fella on the front. Apparently that's a gentleman called William Gladstone. He was a Chancellor of the Exchequer at some point, and he's doing like a little dance. There's a cool story on the back of the bottle about that. I'm sure we'll get some B-roll so you can see that. But yeah, £20, made by a really well-regarded bottling company and distillery owners now, if that fact's correct. But let's smell, let's taste, let's see what £21 can buy you. Right, so yeah, straight away, it's Islay and it's Campbeltown. I'm not gonna try and pick out what distilleries are in it, because it's a Solera-based blend at £20, so it could literally be everything. There's only 3 Campbeltown distilleries. They all have kinda similar notes of saltiness and mineralness, a little bit of smoke that's running through it. The Islay is almost like this kind of hit of seaweed. There's a bit of chili. It is what I would consider like a hot nose. It does make you kind of go like that, but in a way that you don't expect. When you think about this price point, people normally retract because it's a bit too plasticky is a word I've used in a couple of blended videos, but they can be. There's a little bit of it in this. The grain is there, but if anything, it kind of amplifies the saltiness of it and the coastalness of it. The sherry cask influence, the Speyside influence, don't get a ton of it on the nose. It smells a bit like honey, but I suppose most whiskies do, sort of. Oh, I tell a lie, there is a brightness to it. There's kind of like an appley, peary thing. Quite typical Speyside notes, I presume. But yeah, good kind of coastal, like bracing nature to the nose. And then the grain whiskey is really kind of amplifying that. And then underneath it, there's these tiny little sweet notes. Nothing too much though, but let's see what the taste is. Okay, bit of a change. Everything kind of gets flipped. So the first arrival is that kind of honey, apple, pear, almost like an apple pie sort of flavour, a bit of cinnamon. The grain washes through, there's like nice bits of vanilla, kind of like a creme caramel custardy sort of thing. Very subtle, apple pie and custard essentially is the flip note. As you swallow the whiskey, the saltiness comes back around. It's almost like bitter, but not bitter in like a dark chocolate way, which I love, but bitter in a way of like coriander, parsley, green herbs, but they don't have an earthiness to them. They're just salty and quite, is aspartic the right word? It's probably not, ignore that word. But yeah, bitter, kind of cleansing, refreshing, herbiness to it all. A remarkably sweet start. You can see why that'd be a super easy drinking whiskey. And indeed it is, and when I go home, That, along with what is remains of the Smoky Black and the Cutty Sark, they're kind of my 3 everyday whiskies right now. I've kind of moved aside from the more expensive stuff. It's gathering dust a bit because it's just I find it a bit too much of a challenge sometimes. But yeah, this stuff's delicious. At that price point, it is quite a step up from. Oh, excuse me. It is quite a step up from things we've reviewed. It's quite a step up from most blended whiskies at that price point. I am a big Johnnie Walker Black Label fan. It's the whiskey that got me into whiskey. So I hold professional, personal, and nostalgic love for that product, and always will. This is like that, but a bit more. It's not as sweet, but it shares a lot of characteristics to Johnnie Black for roughly about the same money, depending on where you shop. And if I were to score Johnnie Walker Black Label, I'd probably give it like a 7.5, because I think that's quite respectable. This gets the same score. It's a 7.5. For 20 quid, that is quite mind-blowing. Again, the gentleman who recommended it, I'm so sorry that I've forgotten your name. Today's just been like one of them days. But you should all probably check this out. Adelphi with William Gladstone on the front of it. You know, yeah, it's not a natural colour. It is chill filtered, probably. But everyday affordable whiskey is something we should all look into more, be it Scottish, Irish, American. I don't think the word affordable in Japanese really exists anymore. Indian to a degree, I've got some great affordable whiskies. The European continent has some amazing whiskies that are affordable. Canada, more Canadian whiskies coming into the UK, which are really good and like 30 quid, lot 40, looking at you. But yeah, that's a 7.5 for the Adelphi blended whiskey. Thank you for the recommendation. It is delicious. And yeah, we'll probably recommend you all go out and grab one of those if you don't want to spend a lot of money right now. But thank you all for watching. This is The Whiskey Shop again. I'm Phil. We're still on barrels. We probably will be for the next couple of videos. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.